Tweet this out. Copy. Tweet. Paste. Tweet. Okay, Garuda Legends. What is up? Did you just punch me in the face? You don't want any smoke. You don't want the smoke. The smoke. All right, let me get on with the official introductions. Yo, what is good, YouTube? It is your boy Lincoln Clay coming back at you on a live stream. Let's all be one cohesive unit and hit that like button to help spread the content to a wider audience. I would appreciate it. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you can stay notified whenever I put out new content. I would appreciate that as well. If you are a new subscriber, welcome to the channel. I hope you are enjoying the content. And so, as you see right here, the title of this podcast is Crossplay and Anti-Consumer Hypocrisy Needs to Stop. This is where this has gotten. I mean, this has gotten to a fever pitch. Overdone, what is up? Craig Harris, what's up? Boy, I'm ready to go in about this crossplay shit, man, and this anti-consumer shit. You know, feel free to join me if you want, but I'm ready to go in about this shit, you know, because this has really gotten on my nerves, man. I mean, you know me, always got the open door policy. You are welcome to join. I'll send the link. It's there. If you come, that'd be great. Just make sure you lock the door behind you when you come in. Copy. Ryan Landis, you're here for the outrage. All right, give me a second. Let me send Craig Harris this link, and then we're going to get this outrage started. Craig, the superior console, send a direct message. Paste, and kaboom. There you go, Mr. Mr. Harris. Please lock the door behind you when you come in. Now, hey Thrash, you can jump in this too if you want, man, because like I'm fed up with this crossplay bullshit, man, and this anti-consumerism shit. You know, so let me send you a link. Same thing, man. You want to come on in, lock the door behind you. King Thrash Gaming. Paste. Boom. Okay. So let's start with this crossplay shit. As everybody knows, Microsoft has been spearheading this campaign against Sony to try to get Sony to jump in on this crossplay shit. And they act like they want to unite the gamers, you know, and which I call bullshit. Microsoft has its own agenda with this crossplay shit. You know, several YouTubers have made it a point, you know, Thrash being one of them, is that they want to get crossplay. You know, they want Sony to get done on crossplay, get on board with it so they can sell Xbox Live memberships. I believe that. I also believe that Microsoft wants Sony to get on board with crossplay so they can level the playing field for the next generation, because the way things are looking right now, Sony's probably going to win the next generation. Just on the simple fact that they may retain their user base, they're probably going to win the next generation. And Microsoft knows that. They know whatever bullshit box they put out is not going to jump out the blocks the way the PS4 did. They're just not going to win the next generation based on the content that they're going to provide, because they're going to give us the same shit, you know, the same Gears, Forza, and Halo. They know that shit alone is not going to beat the PlayStation, especially when PlayStation has just made the commitment to double down on first-party single-player games. Microsoft is not going to win the next generation. So they're trying to put this cross-play shit in play to try to level the playing field. If Microsoft has this way and they get this cross-play shit going, when the next generation starts, let's take a game like Call of Duty, for instance. If Microsoft has its way and they get this crossplay shit going on for the next generation, a game like Call of Duty if you want to play with your friends on a PlayStation, you won't need to buy a PlayStation. You can do it from your Xbox. That kills potential sales for Sony. And that's what Microsoft's want, to try to level this playing field because they know they can't beat them on their own. This is like Microsoft is acting like this is a fucking fight where they got knocked down. It's like, all right, let me up, let's start over. No, this shit don't work like that. You pick the fucking fight, you fight to the fucking finish. And this shit got me hot.
Oh yeah, I'm hot too. I have to make a video about this shit, man.
And then the other thing is, and then the crossplay and the anti-consumerism, all of it is centered around Sony. Ain't nobody else name coming up in this shit. And it's always the Xbox crying. So tell me this. So tell me this about the crossplay shit. First of all, for the toxic Xbox, I said it before. If you can't stand the Sony ponies, then why the fuck do you even want to play with them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the number one thing right there. I mean, somebody go ahead and chime in some more on this while I'm still gathering my thoughts because I'm heated.
Well, I'll say real quick that I talked to 2 small business owners, and they don't know nothing about consoles. They both do high performance motor parts. And what's that in the background? Somebody's putting music in the background.
Oh shit! That's me. No, that's I'm playing a Switch. Let me turn it down. My fault.
All right, so it sound like somebody's getting an ass whooping.
I play that Hollow. What is the shit called? Hollow Warrior, Hollow something, Hollow Knight.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, cool. But they both said at different times that it's about value. He said that one, you do not do business with people who have less than you. He said by definition that's called in the medical field we call it diffusion. You don't go from a higher plane to a lower plane. That diffuses, and when you diffuse, you devalue the company. I said, well, explain that as far as what Microsoft's pushing. He said, look, plain and simple, Microsoft is trying to devalue having a PlayStation, and he brought up the whole Coinstar story. They're the ones that Coinstar owns Redbox. And Redbox, when they first started, they were releasing movies, not video games, movies day and day. That day and day meaning the same day they came out to buy, you could go rent them for whatever, $2-3. Well, that was pushing people to just go rent the movie and it devalued the sales. So they got Coinstar to sign paperwork. They mean Target. Target got them. Best Buy got them. There's a whole lot of people at Walmart. Everybody who sells movies said, look, you all are devaluing us by going ahead and renting the movie. So Coinstar said, okay, we'll stop. That's why you have to wait, almost 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks for a movie to come to Redbox. But what Target and Walmart and they all started doing was they started running ads saying, get the movie here first, a full 2 weeks before you can get it on Redbox. So, and Microsoft, you're right, Lincoln. Microsoft, as soon as two things will happen. Microsoft, if Sony were to do crossplay, which they do, here's the thing, they do crossplay with PC. So, but if they were to do console with console crossplay, what would happen is Microsoft would come out and they would say, okay, Sony has agreed to do crossplay, so forth and so on. Now you don't need a Sony platform to play with your friends.
Exactly.
They're trying to you're right. They're trying to give you one less reason to buy that console. And yeah, you're right. That new console that's coming out, it's going to flatten Microsoft. From what I've been told, what this thing's going to be capable of doing, if it can do these things, what's the point of having the Xbox at that point? Because, but ultimately, that's a different story, different day. But ultimately, what these two cats were saying was it's about devaluing. He said they got to give these guys a reason to not go buy the Xbox. So by the PlayStation. So they're using crossplay as a Trojan horse to wedge the issue. So they have to have crossplay going forward. People got to really understand it about Microsoft. In order for them to survive next generation, to survive and be profitable with this console, they need a reason for you not to have, not to go out and buy a PlayStation, i.e. you need, Fortnite is locked behind a paywall. Well, they're damage controlling that. Saying, well, it's only $60 a year. What's the big deal? So they don't, it's free, I believe, on Nintendo Switch. It's free on the PC. It's free on the PlayStation. They the only ones paying for it. So as far as the anti-consumerism, again, that's a lie. The people saying that consumerism laws are controlled by the Security and Exchange Commission. And if Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo was being anti-consumer, that's who would be knocking down their door. Those cats live for that shit. But you're right, Lincoln. At the end of the day, it's about them having to find out a way to devalue needing to have a PlayStation. So trust me. And then the second thing Microsoft would do is say, oh, you're doing it for that game. Why don't you do it for, let's just give an H1Z1. They would say something like that because, again, they cannot have people leaving their ecosystem and just playing in the PlayStation ecosystem. That cripples Microsoft because it's kind of like, because why would they come back? Because you can still play 80% of the games on the Xbox on the PlayStation. All the multi-platform run fine on the PlayStation. So even them, I'm winding this down. Even them releasing a more powerful console did not help them. People still went out and bought more PlayStation. People are buying a Nintendo Switch. They're not buying the Xbox X, which is now, I guess they got a permanent price drop to $450 because it is $450 brand new. I was just at the store about an hour ago. So and I just thought that was an E3 thing, but apparently it's a permanent. The guy at Best Buy said, no, that SKU changed.
That shit.
So no, that's not going to help them either. So they know that. They have evidence. Wow, we released this brand new console. We can't even make inroads. We're losing ground. So we need an issue that's going to slow things down. And again, it's the equivalent of Sam and Photo climbing up Mount Doom with the One Ring, dragging each other, so that Photo can destroy the ring. I mean, that's what they look like. To me, that's what they look like, and that's what they sound like online. It's just because Microsoft again won't stop there. They'll go to H1Z1 next, and then they will keep on doing that. They will keep on saying, and then they will come out and trust me, guys. They will say, you don't need a Xbox to now play with your friends, or you won't need a PlayStation to play with the PlayStation guys. You can just you'll put Nintendo in there too. They'll say you can use a Nintendo Switch, you can use a handheld device, even though you can do that right now with the handhelds, or you can use an Xbox. The main thing is you can game on what device you want. It's a way for them to devalue. Sony will not do that, and they're going to keep kicking their teeth in. Now, what we have to watch, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about it, is NPD for next month. Because if Sony still wins NPD, even though Microsoft has thrown, this is their best punch, even though they have thrown their best punch, then it's over with. It's done, and what did you two think about Sony releasing a Fortnite bundle console? This to shut everybody up,
Smart man.
Before you chime in real quick, Thrash, let me say this. We got an echo here too.
Oh, okay.
Is it? I don't know if that's one. That one ain't mine.
Okay.
I got my headphones
on. Now, what I wanted to say was, again, to reiterate that Microsoft is just trying to level the playing field for next generation because they know they're going to get their ass whooped right out the gate just on the simple fact that Sony retaining their user base. Now, what's got me hot about this shit, if the ex-ball lickers, and yes, I'm coming out and, I'm not pulling any fucking punches today. I called them the ex-ball lickers before I became a YouTube, before I started my YouTube channel, when I used to send Thrash messages and I used to address them as ball lickers, as ex-ball lickers. And I had a few other names for them that I can't mention here. But what's got me hot about this shit, if these fucking Xbox these fucking ex-ball lickers felt that fucking strongly about crossplay, then why the fuck ain't you going to Phil Spencer and tell him to lift that time exclusive on PUBG, let it come to the PlayStation right now, and let it be crossplay? They ain't asking for none of that shit. Everything that they asking for is centered around wanting Sony to get on board with something or wanting Sony to give up something. And they ain't talking about giving up shit on their end.
Facts.
That's what got me high. So if you feel that strongly about it, take your motherfucking PUBG, take the lift out, take that time exclusive lift off of it, and let it go across the board right now. And you go to Phil Spencer and say, let us play with the PlayStation people. That shit ain't gonna happen. So I don't get, so all this screaming and cussing and shit like that going on Sony's ends has got me hot. And then, the anti-consumerism screaming about shit like Spider-Man being, anti-consumer. Look, at the end of the day, Sony is trying to protect their brand, which is exactly what Microsoft did during the 360 generation. This is how much Microsoft grimy asses was trying to protect their brand. During the 360 generation on the PS3, there was a web browser, right? Everybody knows there was a web browser on the PS3. There was no web browser on the 360 because Microsoft was trying to keep that shit separate. If you wanted to surf the web, you had to go buy some kind of computer that had Windows as an operating system so Microsoft can get the cut off the PC in. Nobody was preaching anti-consumerism then. They gave us the web browser. Now this generation is because they was getting their ass whooped. And that was one of the features on the PS4. Microsoft was getting their asses whooped so bad that they looked at all the features and the perks of the PS4 and started implementing them on their end. And that's why you got shit like games with gold. So totally let me catch my breath, but you can take the mic in the meantime, Thrash.
Thank you for the mic while you catch your breath. No, I hear you, man. It's a few things like what Harris was saying. It's with the small businesses, they write about that. You know what I'm saying? It's the valuing, and to add to that, like of how big. Are confused.
You bought bad, bro.
Consumerism. Damn, man.
Yeah, terrible.
It's this damn switch. Hold on. Damn switch. Ugh. All these different things in the air with my Wi-Fi. Is it still tripping?
You good now?
All right. What I was saying was Harris. What Harris was saying is right. You know what I'm saying about the whole the whole devaluing. And that's 100% real. That's 100% true. But to add to that, I think a lot of people are mixing up anti-consumerism with business and stepping over the line into business. You got to understand a couple things. One, it wasn't consumers asking for crossplay. It's Microsoft asking for crossplay. It's Nintendo asking for crossplay. These are the companies who are putting out tweets and saying this and throwing little baby shots, and then now using the outrage culture that is Twitter, they're making it to where they're making it seem like it's gamers asking for it, when really it's just Xbox guys, Nintendo guys. I don't even think Nintendo guys are really in on this, but it's really Xbox guys saying, "Oh, this is bad. Oh, let's talk about it. This be bad. Let's find something new to talk about that's bad." That's just using outrage culture. But it's like I said before, it's a difference between anti-consumerism and business. When it's anti-consumerism, it means that it's hurting PlayStation guys. And this is something that PlayStation guys haven't even asked for. Even when Sony was trying to do it with Final Fantasy 14 this generation, or even last generation, nobody was asking for it. It was the companies asking to do this. Not us. We were like, yes, a good idea. It's great. It would be great for all gamers to play together. But the consumer isn't asking for this. When these generations started, they didn't say, "Oh, I hope there's crossplay." Oh, that's anti-consumerism if we're asking for something and they're not giving it to us. But if this companies, the competitors asking for it, that's making their customers ask for it, it's not Sony's consumers that want it, it's Microsoft's. You know what I'm saying? Like people are not really giving a fuck about playing Fortnite, my nigga, with Xbox guys. I don't boot up a game and say, "Oh, I wish I could play with an Xbox guy with this." I don't care. Like it's it's not something that anti-consumerism would be something that's, I don't know, maybe charging to play Fortnite as it's a free-to-play game everywhere else. That's anti-consumerism. That's what's being ignored. You're ignoring Microsoft's anti-consumerism by refusing to lift Xbox Live on Fortnite or any other free-to-play game for that matter, where in the meantime, Sony has a similar subscription service in PlayStation Plus where you need that to play online. They actually lift that to have it be 100% free for everyone. That's pro-consumerism. That's real anti-consumerism on Xbox side. So it's
it technically, not to interrupt you, technically is not, because if you needed to be online all the time, that could be construed as anti-consumerism. With that said, if I turn on my Xbox and if I call the ambassadors, because they're not employees anymore, they don't get paid. If I call the ambassadors today and say, cut off my Xbox Live, I can still turn on my Xbox and play. But let me ask you all this. I agree with you, King Thrash, 100%. They act like, they being these Xbox people, they act like they know the PlayStation community better than the parent company. It's not the PlayStation guy, and I've said this before, that wants to come home, put on his headset, and call in the B2 and get one-man army and hang out with his friends. Most of the PlayStation gamers are more into single-player games. That's this reality. That's why there's a reason why Sony came out and said what? They didn't say we're doubling down on multiplayer games. They said we're doubling down on the single player experience because that's what our fans want. So playing online, while it is important in a sense of business to offer it, it's not why people are buying. I didn't buy God of War to play online. I didn't buy Detroit Become Human to game online. I didn't buy Horizon Zero Dawn to game online. So that's the difference. You got two different kind of people. It is the Xbox community that buys fucking games, and then they don't even play the single player game. They jump right online. That's what they do. Yeah, I mean, that's what they do. And so they think this is the best way to play the game. So the fact that they've had to, I mean, at the beginning of the generation, had Microsoft come out and launch their Xbox during that press briefing, had they said something to the effect of, Sony offered us crossplay last generation. We didn't want that. We now realize there could be something there. If we're willing to sit down with them, if they are, and maybe do crossplay on some games. Microsoft never said that because they didn't think they were going to need it, because they didn't think they'd be in this position. So now they're in a position where they're running out of air. There's 100 million consoles that are not Xboxes sold, PlayStation 4 and the Switches combined. And so they need those people to have a reason to not be on those consoles. And you have to buy our console because we're at 33 million, period. You all are going to catch us with Sony. I mean, with Nintendo, they're going to catch us in the next fiscal year. Sony is about to drop another console in the next 17 to 22 months. We can't keep up with it. We got people getting too far ahead. We got Nintendo coming up our backside. We're at our wits' end. We need something to get these guys just to all want to play together on the devices that they own. That's where they're at. But you're right, King Thrash. I have not heard one Nintendo executive come out and say, we want crossplay on all platforms. I've not heard one Sony executive come out and say, we want crossplay. It's the Xbox people. That's it. They need to shut up. Nobody wants to play with their simp asses. Go play with your dolls.
Right. It was one thing I wanted to add is the number aspect that I think a lot of people are forgetting too. Now, this ain't opinion of mine. This is fact right here. Now, the reason why Sony wouldn't want to do this, let's say that they have it on the table. They have it on the table. It's been on the table. But the reason why they wanted to do it at the beginning of the generation and last generation, but don't want to do it now, is it's a number game. think about it like this. Everything has to do with exposure. Anything that you do with your competition, if you do it together, you're exposing each other's base to the competition, period, right? So when people say, oh, it's cross-play, so people's getting experience with PlayStation, people getting experience with Xbox, whatever, right? But it's a number game that you can't forget about. Sony has 80 million people. Nintendo has 20, Xbox has 30. Put those two together, they're only contributing 30 potential new buyers for Sony, where Sony is offering 80, more than both of them combined, potential buyers for Xbox and Nintendo. So if you weigh it, Sony doesn't stand to make any money. You know what I'm saying? Period. They don't stand to gain anything. The only thing they're standing to do with this is to help their competition grow. And nobody's in the business help their competition grow. The Warriors could have like let off of the Cavaliers and let them win extra games to make more money. But nobody does that for the competition. That means there's no longer competition. You might as well be working for the same motherfucking company. You know what I'm saying? The Warriors, the players, they work for the Warriors. The Cavaliers work for the Cavs, but all of them work for the NBA. It would have been profitable for the NBA as a whole if they would have won more games. But why would they do that if they're each competing each other inside of that same motherfucking company? It's the same thing with gaming. All of them are in the gaming industry, but they have different branches that each compete with each other to get our money. You know what I mean? So business, if you put the business side on the table, it makes perfect sense for Sony to say no. It made perfect sense for Xbox to say no last generation. It didn't make sense in the beginning of the generation because they both had the same numbers. So it's like Microsoft was like no when everything was even. Microsoft was like no when everything was on their side. But now they're like yes, since now that they are the underdog and they are the ones who need it. So it's like the best time to do crossplay is only in the beginning of the generation when you're both even, and then that way it's an even chance. Nobody's helping each other. Everybody's helping each other. Nobody's like having the advantage or a disadvantage. So it's like it's a business. No matter what people try to say, oh, it's not anti-consumerism because this decision has nothing to do with consumers. It doesn't hurt the consumer. Gaming has been like this for eternity, so it's not like it's hurting something. It's more like the timing is bad. Microsoft only wants to do it because they want to gain, and they know their competition won't gain. They stand to gain. Nintendo's doing it with Xbox because Nintendo has less than Xbox, and they only stand to gain. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's all about gains and who's not gaining. PlayStation, like we worked hard for our 80 million. We the ones that's putting out these bomb ass games. We the ones that doing all this fucking shit for our consumers, and they chose us. We didn't do all of this work to help you grow. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's more of a business. It has nothing to do with us gamers. We should be worried about games. We shouldn't be worrying about who we gaming with. If I want to play, I have PlayStation homies. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be able to group chat with you on Fortnite if they crossplay because I would have to sign up for Xbox Live. You know what I'm saying? And then another thing is, have you guys heard about the achievement? Did you see my tweet about achievements for the Xbox on Nintendo Switch? Did you guys see that?
No.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I'm uploading a video right now showing this shit. The Minecraft will have Xbox achievements and Xbox and like everything like you know what I'm saying? Like it's super. This is what someone want to expose their people to the competition. That's the ultimate exposure because once you start getting achievements, you're gonna want to get more achievements. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those things that draw you into something. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna make a lot of Switch niggas want to be like, well, shit, I got these achievements. I'm already paying because they make you pay for Xbox Live. And then I'm like, shit, they're getting these free Xbox Live games. I might as well get an Xbox and get some free games. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just like it's not helping. And that right there proves within itself what Microsoft is trying to do. Like you said earlier, they want to be able to, come up and that's the only way they can survive is to try to take advantage of the success of other companies.
Yeah, this point, the point that they're at right now, and again, these two guys are business guys I talked to. Were like, look, if you're at a point where you're embracing a competitor to compete with another competitor, you're at your wit's end. Business 101. it's the enemy of my enemy. So they and Thrash is right. It is a way to get them to get off of the Switch and go to the Microsoft system. Now Nintendo is, I'm sure Nintendo knows that, and I know they're doubling down on getting their online operating. That way they can come off of this. Because right now, go back to the first lesson of business. You don't do business with somebody who got less than you. So Nintendo, by default, if Microsoft does have more consoles on site, they have a much better online infrastructure. So Nintendo does business with somebody who's got more, and they can keep building their own online infrastructure. But eventually, they are going to take this away. It may take them 2 years to get their online infrastructure up, but it will go away. But Thrash is right. They're now going to start creating mechanisms to get you to leave your Switches. And I'm talking about the kids, not the grown men and women.
Yeah. It's the casuals, the biggest market.
The casual gamer is going to say, "Oh, I can get free games on Xbox. Oh, they have Game Pass, and all we have to do is do this, this, and this." So you're getting nothing but bullshit from Phil Spencer and the rest of those clowns. So it is what it is. The difference is that Sony sees it and they know their throat is being crushed. They know that. Microsoft knows that. So they're coming up. Why do you think they announced? Let me say this. Why do you think they announced 7 months after the X was launched? They announced the building of another platform.
They did that. They did that before the X even launched. They did that last October. Because Phil Spencer said the process never stops. And he said, we're already working on the next Xbox. He said that a month before the Xbox One X came out. So I was like, you devaluing the Xbox One X and almost making it seem obsolete before the shit even launches. So I didn't think that was the smart thing to say back then. This was last October before the shit even launched. And then, I wanted to add something else. Both of y'all are right. Microsoft is trying to devalue the PlayStation. They are trying to get PlayStation, why don't you come on, Sony, help us beat you? What the fuck kind of sense does that make? And then here's the other thing. No, it makes no fucking sense at all. And see, both of y'all are absolutely right. But here's what got me hot about this shit. And right now, to me, Sony is Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick took a stand against the flag because black motorists was being killed all over the country by police. And he was taking a stand trying to help put a stop to
put awareness on it.
Yeah, bring awareness to police killing people in cold blood. But the media started a fucking smear campaign and started lying and saying that he was doing it because he was disrespecting the military. So now he's the most hated man in the country. He hated by anybody that ain't black. And then at every fucking sports function, when they, ask people to stand for the national anthem, they got to take some kind of jab at him. And that's what the fuck Microsoft did. They started a fucking smear campaign. Sony just trying to protect their own brand. This ain't about no anti-consumerism. They trying to protect their own brand. Like y'all said, they built this shit. They came from the verge of bankruptcy to build this shit to where it's at now. And they not about to just hand this shit over to somebody. But Microsoft, being the goddamn, bastards that they are, started this smear campaign. And now the Xbox and the media done jumped on it. And now Sony's the fucking villain.
Well, again, it's not. It's just business. Again, because the companies, they do their spreadsheets. They know what time it is.
Hold on, let me stop you right there, Craig. Garuda Legends. I do agree with Colin Kaepernick. I stood up for the anthem, but I agree with what he's doing because as a black man who's driving down the street with my son in the car, I get nervous every time a cop gets behind me because I don't know if this is the day that I'm going to get shot.
Facts. That's why I close out my podcast and what I close it out with. It may seem insensitive to some of you all, but it's a reality that we're living with. But back to gaming. Back to gaming.
So the media started, Microsoft spearheaded a smear campaign against Sony, and the shit is picking up steam. And everybody, nobody's saying shit about Microsoft not wanting to play ball last generation.
Well, no, they do bring that up. It's just that I don't I mean, look, I don't really pay attention to a ton of the media. I mean, I can't declare that. I mean, I said this when the Xbox was complaining about the media. I'm like, what media are you talking about? I don't see CNN or MSNBC or CNBC talking about this. CNBC did talk about crossplay for like 30 seconds on Tuesday. And but that was it. With that said, however, it's Microsoft is doing what they need for their Xbox to stay relevant. Not today, because today they dropped the price $50. They're trying to stay relevant. What they're trying to do is 6 to 10 years down the road. Hey, how do we stay relevant 6 to 10 years down the road when we can't keep up with Sony, who is about to, like you said, Lincoln, if they take 90% of their fan base with them to the PS5, which that's a high number. Well, let's just say enough people at a 90% clip go. Then what are they not going to buy? The Xbox. That's why you're hearing all kind of things where Xbox has got to get their console out first. So they're
that's why I said the race for 2019 is on, because the race is on to try to get the console out first. They don't have a set date on we're shooting for 2020. No, we're trying to get this shit out as soon as possible. We know it's like that with Microsoft because that's how they roll. That's what they did the last generation with the 360. They put out a console that was not ready. They put out a console that they knew was going to fuck up because they was trying to get the jump on Sony, and they did it. And that's why Sony waited the next year to release their shit when it wouldn't be any competition.
Well, and they put a Blu-ray in. That was the main reason Sony got delayed, was they put a Blu-ray in the PS3. But it was supposed to release. It was supposed to release like a couple of weeks after the Xbox 360. Yeah, but they were gonna do a double SKU, one possible Blu-ray SKU and one without. But they went the direction they did with that. Well, I mean, we're talking about 15, 20 years ago almost. But ultimately. It's just so, Microsoft is going to go, and like I said, you get the kid hooked on the tit, and like you said, Lincoln, they're going to start using that as they'll say these are new users. That's what they're going to do. Oh, we have all these unique users now. And so again, because Microsoft is the one who has changed the way success is. They don't look at sales as being successful. They look at user subscriptions as being successful. So again, it is literally all about them devaluing another company. Now, again, the Xbox community since 2015, guys, and this is for the people in the chat too, they have lived with being devalued for 3 years, because what did Microsoft do in 2015? Phil Spencer came out in March and said, all our games are going to PC, all of them. So that immediately devalued everything. And, that's when he got into it with Crap Gamer. You all can go research that yourselves, and Phil Spencer said something to the effect of, you're canceling your pre-order because other people get to play the game. So, but I'm forget about what he said. This is about them already living with the fact that they're in an ecosystem that devalues them every day because the games go to PC. So to them, being devalued is second nature to them. It's like like somebody in an abusive relationship. So it's business. This is the way business works. And if my business was going to be closing down in 60 months, which is 5 years for you all who don't do the math, I'd be like, yeah, look, you know what? We got to figure out a way to get these folks over here on our crack and not on the crack they own, or else we won't be here. They already got rid of Xbox Live support and got ambassadors in there. They're not paying these turkeys. So there's your first step. It's the writing's on the wall on what they're going to do. So. Yeah, Tarashi, great. The Blu-ray diodes had issues. Yeah, they had to fix their diodes on the Blu-ray. So they were going to release 2 SKUs. They just pulled it. And because of the manufacturing costs, they added the new manufacturing costs in to the price of the PlayStation 3. That's why it was $599 or whatever it was. It was too damn much. Too goddamn much. So that's all I can say. And people didn't buy it, including me. I did not own a PS3. It was too damn expensive. So,
I bought the PS3 once they lowered the price to $400. In myself, I think the PS3 was a better console than the Xbox 360. The only thing it was missing was that party chat. So I spent the majority of my time playing my games on my 360 for two reasons. One, the party. Actually, three reasons. One, the party chat. Three, that's where my friends was gaming. And third and foremost is because I was burning my own games. You do the math. I can burn a game for the 360 for free, or I could buy it for $60 on the PS3. You do the math.
Yeah, I mean, it's business. That's all it's about. Shit. It's about we got to devalue them. We have to figure out a way to devalue them. So, instead of them understanding, real quick, instead of them understanding.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say real quick. You have Coke and Pepsi. Coke is tolerating Pepsi being in a bit. If Coke wanted to put Pepsi out of business, they could do it tomorrow. Because the formula that Pepsi has, when you drink a Pepsi, that's Coke's original formula. And they still own 30%. Most people don't know that. So, but ultimately,
let me guess I work for Coke. You're right. We at Coke, we call Pepsi what it is, and it's counterfeit Coke. That's what we call it. It's counterfeit Coke. So yeah, you're right. That, and we could take them out, but we can't. The reason why we can't take them out is because the law. We can't have a monopoly. It's like they have a monopoly law. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason. We could easily take them out. We already take them out. Anywhere you go, unless Pepsi is paying a lot of money. If you go into a regular random ass store and you use more shelves with Coke in there, you'll see more coolers that say Coke on them. We own the majority share because we have the majority of buyers. We have basically the larger user base. And so they have to respect our user base. Like we make more money than them. So any customer, say store owners, are going to buy more Coke because it's their Coke. So we demand more space in their store if we're going to sell. Like Coke is at the point to where we don't even gotta like try to sell ourselves. It automatically sells itself. So we can threaten Coke out of your store, and then they'll get in line because they won't make no money otherwise. And the same thing is going like when you're pointing what you're saying. Like it's a majority share of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Xbox is like a counterfeit motherfucking gaming company in my eyes.
Yeah, it's just they're tolerating them being here. I mean, it's not like it's bad for business. It's not like they are making it. They do things to help the gaming business. I mean, console online gaming. They were big on that. They adopted the PC mantra, brought it into their console. That is perfectly fine. They have Dolby Atmos on their console, the Xbox X. No doubt PS5 will have Dolby Atmos on their console too. So, I mean, or something similar. Sony's, whatever that thing is called, their version of Atmos may be on their PlayStation. So, but ultimately, what this comes down to is you have a company getting beaten so bad that they went to another competitor to say, help us. Like Princess Leia said, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're only hope. That's what Microsoft is doing.
Yeah, but Microsoft is asking the enemy for help. They're asking the enemy to help them beat them.
Yeah, well, again,
no. They both need help. They both need help helping each other. They're helping each other because they both, like, Nintendo doesn't have the user base. They don't have a larger user base right now. So Nintendo is using this to help them grow their user base. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to that number thing. You know what I'm saying? Nintendo got 20, they have 30. So they have Microsoft is helping Nintendo more than Nintendo is helping Microsoft. It's just that now both of Sony in on them because both of them would get more help. You know what I'm saying? So Nintendo and Microsoft getting together is one thing. Them going on Twitter and low-key trying to make the public use outrage culture against Sony is what they're doing. They're using outrage culture to get their people to believe that crossplay is good, which it is. It's good, but it's just bad for business, but they don't know that shit. It's bad for the business who has it. So they're using that to say, hey, we're playing together, where's Sony at, basically, you know what I'm saying? And then have an outrage viral online and to try to do it to appease their customer, their unknowing customer. They know they're taking advantage of ignorance of their customers, bro. That's what it basically is, and they're using to try to force Sony's hand. You know what I'm saying? That's just they did it last year too. They did it with I think Destiny or something like that, to where they were trying to say we're trying to do crossplay, but Sony won't do it, and they're putting Sony's name out there and all that shit. It's just very bad tactics to try to get themselves back in, and it's just.
Let me ask
you know, and then if I'm a door-to-door salesman and I go to 20 houses on the block and I get them to buy my product, but that 20th one don't want to buy it, you know, well, fuck them, you know, just move on to the next block and just start selling this shit. But they want to stay on that 20th house and say they don't want to, you know, buy our product, you know, and then try to vilify them. And I said this before, how many fucking times do I got to say this shit? For the Xbots out there, what kind of experience are you going to get playing against somebody on a PlayStation, if you even know that you're playing against them, that you can't get by playing, you know, against somebody on the Xbox? I said it before. There's 17 million Switches out there. If you can't find somebody to play with on the Switch, you got a problem. If you got an Xbox and there's 37 million Xboxes out there, you can't find somebody to play with, you got a problem. Same thing with 80 million PlayStations. I don't know how many times I got to say that shit. And then, you know, God damn it, I was going to add something else to that shit. But I forgot. Y'all take it, man, because I'm like, this fucking smear campaign that they started has just got me hot.
Yeah, well, business-wise, it makes sense. It makes sense what Microsoft wants to do. Of course, Destiny outsold Destiny on PlayStation, outsold it on Xbox. So of course, if your Xbox is simple, it's not, honestly, it's not that hard. We have to create a condition so that people won't buy that console to play over there. And if we can get them to just allow everybody to play together, then guess what? There are people walking into the store that may prefer an Xbox. Let's just say you prefer the Xbox, but you got 7 friends and one of them has an Xbox, and then 5 of them have a PlayStation. They're getting the PlayStation, and that other person is the odd man out. Well, again, Microsoft is trying to, and King Thrash is right, they're trying to manufacture a condition that makes Sony capitulate to them so that they can start devaluing needing to be in their ecosystem. That's all this is about. They're not Nintendo again. Nintendo is in position where, because they don't have online and infrastructure, they need Microsoft. They're like, here, you all go play over here while we build over here. We're putting in our pool, kids. So you all go down to Danny's house and swim over there. When our pool's ready, we'll call you back, because that's what Nintendo's going to do. And Nintendo and Sony do have a long time rivalry. But Brad said 100%, 1,000, and I co-signed it 1,000%. You don't see the PlayStation community at an executive level literally begging for crossplay. You don't see it from the Nintendo executives. You only see it from the Microsoft people. And it's because they're in the most position of need. The squeakiest wheel makes the most damn noise. And that's all this is. I'm not here to say that it won't be. And they're like, I saw a guy tweet saying something about this is going to affect them with the PS5. It's like, no, it's not. Because if the ecosystem stays the same, they're just going to go buy the PS5, period. Probably at a higher adoption rate. That's why Microsoft is desperate to get a console, or just say we're going to get a console out. Because again, they may not ever do a console. Let's just say they don't do it. But the fact they put that in these cats' ears, that will slow down some of them and say, well, I'll just stay with Xbox and see what they're going to do. That's all this is. This is the guy punching in the 9th round in the 12th round fight. He ain't got no win and no arms and no legs. That's where Microsoft is right now.
Oh, you know what? Let me jump in, because I remember what I was going to say now. First of all, get down to the nuts and bolts of this shit. No matter what console you on, you're not going to know who the fuck you playing against unless Epic tells you in terms of that. And I guarantee you, as far as Epic's point on this, they, stand to gain some money out of this because they will further fuel the console war. Because I guarantee,
definitely,
if they get crossplay, I guarantee you, when you go to that Fortnite page, you will see a stat up in the corner showing which console has won the majority of the matches. Xbox has won 60% of the matches. Nintendo Switch 25% and PlayStation 15%. You know what the fuck kind of another console war that shit will ignite? Why they profiting on that shit? So like I said, what kind of experience as far as the Xbox go? What kind of experience would you get playing against somebody on the PlayStation, even if you knew you was playing against them, that you can't get on the Xbox? It's about for the Xbox themselves. It's about some kind of petty ass bragging right, anything that they can find to win. Because I guarantee you, if they get crossplay and Epic put those stats out there, like I said, Sony can win 999 matches. When Xbox get that one win, it's gonna be all over Twitter and shit. So.
Mm-hmm.
For the Xbox standpoint, it's just grasping at straws. Any little thing where they think they can try to get a victory. Why the fuck do you need to play cross-play with Sony? Just be happy that it's there. Be happy that you can play with people on the Switch and on the PC. Why do you need Sony to get involved in this shit? Just because Sony ain't getting involved in it doesn't mean that it ain't there. It's there. Sony does cross-play. They do cross-play. Star Trek Bridge Crew for the PlayStation VR is cross-play with Oculus and Vive. They got other games coming out that's going to be cross-play for the VR. Alvo, Special Forces.
Sony has more. Sony has more than Xbox does.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, you were botted out, King Thrash. I thought you were done. I'm sorry, bro. I thought you were done. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
You there, Thrash?
Oh no, my bad. Y'all still can't hear me?
Yeah, you was cutting out for a second, but we can hear you now. So whatever you were saying, you have to start over.
No, I was just saying. Damn, what was I saying? Jesus. I said, what was I saying? Jesus, I forgot already. I'm over here mad at this phone. Go ahead. I'll remember later. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ryan Landis, Sony does do some cross-play. Like I said, Star Trek Bridge Crew for the PlayStation VR is a cross-play game with Oculus and Vive, and a couple of other PSVR games. Alvo and Special Forces VR is also going to be cross-play with Oculus and Vive. Sony does do a little bit of cross-play. They just don't fuck with Microsoft, and that's why everybody crying.
Yeah, and look,
that's what I was saying. I was saying they have. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Lightbringer serves in the chat saying it's about them controlling accounts that they don't own. But Epic knew that going into the deal. Epic can break the contract, and pay the clause. But instead, Epic's not going to do that. You know what they did, Lightbringer? You know what they did? They gave Sony an exclusive Fortnite console with DLC for free. So they're fine. Everybody's fine. I mean, it's the begging is that's the best way to describe as a man. That's what I see. I see other grown ass executive men begging to put game, for everybody to play together. When just 28 months ago, they weren't even thinking about this. So something has happened where Microsoft is pushing this at an executive level. But I personally think it's because they can't keep up with their competitors, Sony. So that's my opinion.
Cuba said it best. If you got and I kind of even chimed in on this a little bit too. You got Rainbow Six on both the PlayStation and the Xbox. Even though you have one single Uplay account, goddamn well when you jump over from the Xbox to the PlayStation that you cannot take your progress over there from the Xbox to the PlayStation on Rainbow Six. So why is this a fucking problem with Fortnite? And then as far as that goes, I get what you're saying, Lightbringer. But the thing about it was it turned into Sony locking out people's account to Sony won't do crossplay. It ballooned into that shit. And that's why I got hot again, because people started opening their mouths. Oh, Sony won't do crossplay. How the fuck did this go from, people getting locked out of their accounts to Sony won't do crossplay? That's how the shit blew up like that.
Yeah. And Epic can get out of the contract. I mean, Epic could, on Monday morning, they could have a conference call and say, yeah, look, we know we signed a contract with you all, but this is causing a lot of problems and we want out. And that will be the end of it. They'll pay the early termination clause, and then that'll be the end of it. But again, it's not. But the PC, if you want to play with everybody, like I said, if you all are the kids on Thanksgiving. See, at my house, people would come over and the kids would sit at the kiddie table and the adults would sit at another table, and you guys are at the kiddie table. So if it's that big a deal to you all, the adults have games like the Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War. You all can go play together on your Rocket League with your soccer car. This is perfect. Rocket League with your soccer cars, Minecraft with blocks, and this Fortnite. It looks like a cheap ass 1989 Disney cartoon. So but it's just. But to complain about it at an executive level is beneath what's going on. So I'm just asking you all in the chat to ask yourselves, what has happened where they're asking for this at an executive level, not at a fan level, an executive level at Microsoft? Something has happened. So I'm just challenging you all and challenge yourselves to go find out. So, because when you find out, you're going to be like, damn, well, yeah, I want crossplay too if this is going on.
Shit, they got a bigger problem over there with the goddamn games, and they need to sort out that fucking E3 and realize they've been hoodwinked. They got showed a bunch of games, but underneath all that shit they got showed was still the same 3 or 4 exclusives.
Facts.
They got a bigger problem, but like I said, Phil Spencer's fucking Moses to the Xbox.
Yeah, he is, man. I doubt it was Phil who I thought it was even Phil's idea to put this fucking tweet up, man. I just know that these niggas is, man, like I said, Sony got more motherfucking crossplay games than Xbox does. Nobody talks about it. Anything I was doing that's anti-consumer, nobody come out with a console and you talk about it for 2 years about how much power it's going to be and gaming and how these games are going to be looking so beautiful and native 4K, and then it comes out 6 months later. You bring a game out for this one yet? But shit, you know what I'm saying? You're talking about a new console already. It's just, it's people are confused. It's not that people are confused. I think it's just that people just want anything, and Microsoft is taking advantage of it. You know what I mean? And Nintendo was trying to jump in on it too. I noticed it was Nintendo of America. I'm like, Japanese people don't really get into this shit, but I noticed that tweet was from Nintendo of America. So them niggas already, they know how to juice shit up. You know what I'm saying? They're just trying to juice shit up like Microsoft is juicing shit up, and it's getting to the point. It's just getting to the point where gamers are looking dumb and dumber. I used to admire gamers because we were the most smartest consumers on the planet. We know more about our products than anybody else on planet Earth about any other fucking product. You know what I'm saying? We know who made it, how long it's going to take, when it got complete, when it's going to come out, if it got delayed, the boss of the boss of the boss's name, whose birthday is it? I'm telling you, we know just everything about our consoles. We know everything about our products that we buy. So we know how to research, but then when it comes to shit like this, people are refusing to research. People are refusing to look at the facts, look at what's going on for us as gamers, as consumers, as customers. We're not looking at what shit is. Customers need to learn how to stay in their place. No matter how much you want to say, oh, we should be able to tell them what to do. You can't go into McDonald's and tell the Whopper, my nigga. They're gonna look at you like you got shit on your face. You don't tell, you know what I'm saying? You don't go to a company and tell them to do some shit that the competition is doing. You don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit there and try to outrage a customer or guilt a customer into making. So you would never guilt McDonald's into making a Big Mac. I mean, into making a Whopper. I mean, my nigga. So it's you can't. You got to know your place as a customer. You know what I'm saying? This right here is because we don't know what Sony has to gain or what's by doing this. So because they're not because of something we want. There's lines to this shit. You know, it's things that are anti-consumer, and you got to know your place. You know what I'm saying? So,
and the thing about it is, this crazy shit. To me, they gonna think I'm crazy for saying this, but Sony sticking to their guns on this crossplay issue, this anti-consumer shit. Them sticking to their guns actually works for the Xbox, believe it or not, because as long as Sony keeps kicking Microsoft's ass, sooner or later they're gonna have to get up off their ass and start bringing better products to be competitive. It's only so much lying and so much smear campaigning that you can do. Sooner or later,
why does Microsoft care anyway?
Sooner or later, you're going to have to be competitive. And as long as Sony's kicking there, if Sony gives into this shit and, like Craig Harris says, allows themselves to be devalued, once Microsoft knows they done leveled everybody, they done leveled Sony and leveled Nintendo, they will continue to put out bullshit like State of Decay 2. As long as they are getting their asses kicked and people are complaining about it, that is in the back of their mind that they're going to have to deliver some good shit sooner or later, but they won't have to if there's no competition.
Well, yeah. I mean, the bottom line is that I keep saying the bottom line. I mean, my whole thing on this is that I want everybody to kind of take a step back and just say, okay, why is Microsoft the only company at an executive level pushing this? That's one question you got to ask yourselves. Because when you answer that question, you'll be like, oh, well, but ultimately, what I don't like is the arrogance of some, not all, who think that because Microsoft wants this, this means it's good for everybody. They take the default position of it's because it says Microsoft on it, it's just better. That's their default position going into the conversation. So that's who's really pushing the agenda online. I mean, they're hiding, they want crossplay behind the whole Epic accounts thing, which is like, okay, if Sony doesn't own the account, if Sony does not own the account, then Epic can just get out of it. But instead, they actually are releasing a Fortnite bundle through Epic. That's Epic's game. So, and so Epic is telling you all where to go where to go stick it. Sony's pretty much saying you all can kiss them where the sun don't shine. So they don't care because it's a non-need for them. It's extra for them. I've always said if somebody comes to you and they clean your car out, you take your car to the shop, they clean it out, they buff it, they wax it, and then they say your car's done. Would you like a spray smell good for your car? You don't need it. It's extra, and that's all crossplay is for Sony. It's just, and they do it with PC. That's what's killing me on this, is that I can see if Sony had no crossplay, but they are doing Fortnite with PC. Why don't you Xbox do something about the 50% drop on PUBG? Where is your outrage on that? Because that game, based on the numbers, that game's going to be gone. It will not exist in 8 more months unless they do something. So they've lost 50%.
You know what?
Huh?
Oh, my bad. Go ahead. I just thought of something. Go ahead. Finish. I'll go after you.
There's no righteous indignation there. King Thrash is right about, not King, I think it was Lincoln Clay brought up not Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six with 35 million players all around the world. Where's the crossplay? Where's your righteous indignation? So, you can't have it both ways. This bullshit of pulling my dick out on Monday and playing victim on Tuesday, it ain't going to fly with the Messiah of Xbox. It ain't happening. So just shut it up or shut it down.
What I was about to say was, I just thought of something, and I wish I put it in my video and I did. But it's more shit that's going on that happened in the background that Microsoft isn't mentioning. In order for the Switch and the Xbox to do this crossplay shit, it's not like somebody got up, flipped the switch, and then now all of a sudden the Switch is there, or they just automatically got up, somebody flipped the switch with mine Xbox. They had to sit down at a table and make a contract about this shit. This is what there's no other way around it. No other way around contract for this shit to where to allow crossplay. These were and they came to an agreement. They sat down with Sony and they tried to do the same thing with Sony, and they didn't come up to an agreement because Sony was like, I don't want people to be exposed to this or whatever, right? Real reason, but that's the point. They had to sit down and talk about something at some level because it's possible for you for two competing or to conjoin together, especially with Minecraft, that your competitor without some kind of go. When Minecraft upgrade ever, there was a negotiation how much the percentage. There's always money involved. It had to be with this. Microsoft sat at the table with, and with Minecraft alone, they were like, all right, this is in order. If you're gonna play online, they go to Xbox Live and sign up. Sony was like, hell no, and they couldn't come. Nintendo doesn't have that. Didn't have those yet. You know what I'm saying? Coming up months for $20 wasn't part of the negotiation. Nintendo doesn't have nothing to lose. Sony guys to be able to run up the PS.
Yeah,
and vice versa.
Big time.
If they that's a first party game. I'm buying again.
Yeah. Are you watching this stream as well as being in this room?
No, I'm in the room. Like I said, also it's that over there.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It must be something like that.
Yeah, like when I had I don't know what your internet connection is like, but when I had a slower internet connection, whenever I streamed, I couldn't watch the comments because like I'm doing the live stream and then I'm turning around and watching it as well, so I could keep an eye on the comments and respond to the comments. I had to kill that part of it right there, so it would free up some broadband. I don't know what your situation is over there though, but there's like 1 minute.
My internet is. My shit is premium. I think it's just I got too much shit happening on the Wi-Fi. It's not the Wi-Fi data. It's
how many devices you got connected? How many devices?
That's what I'm saying. It's just shit. That's what it is. That's what I'm saying. That's what it is. It's the device connection.
Like so, like a lot of these Wi-Fi or internet connections. Like for instance, my connection, I can only have 5 devices connected at once. And I think if I try to connect more than that, I think they're gonna be fighting to jump in and out, to try to establish connection. That's just a guess. I don't know though.
Shit, I wish there was a way I could fucking hop in on my fucking computer. But I don't know, how bad is it now? Is it still going? Some shit off. I'm still botting.
Yeah, you're still botting. I mean,
okay. Go ahead.
Some parts of it is not that bad. We can make out what you're saying, but then it'll turn up, and then no, we can't make it out.
All right, don't trip. I'll try to fix it right now.
Hey, did you just finish the video? I got an alert.
Came up. Yeah, that shit was uploading, but it's not uploading on Wi-Fi though, so it shouldn't have affected it.
But if it's done uploading now, hopefully that'll free up some broadband so you won't be botting.
Yeah, hopefully. Shit, I'm gonna try to hop in on my computer because it doesn't mess up on my computer, but it does on my phone.
I mean, right there, you was just cool, nothing.
All right. It probably is. I can't stand technology.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ready for all right. Yeah,
and then I like while you get this thing sorted out, I had said at the beginning of this podcast talking about the anti-consumerism, people were screaming that Sony need to share Spider-Man. Nobody said that the last generation when the original Gears of War was the hot shit. Nobody was saying that Microsoft should share that. I mean,
facts.
Nobody's saying that they should. Nobody on the Microsoft end it's saying that they should share Gears of War or Halo or Forza. I mean, we don't need those games anyway on the PlayStation side, but nobody's still pushing Microsoft to play ball. I mean, everything is centered around Sony either being the bad guy because they won't go along with Microsoft's program, or they won't give up something that they worked so hard to build. This whole shit is about Sony giving up something, and ain't nothing being given up on Microsoft end.
Well, I mean, the fact that they're getting pummeled is what they're saying. My whole take is I could see if Sony had zero crossplay and there were people saying, hey, why do you think Sony won't look into it? But Sony does crossplay with PC, and everybody knows that. I can see if Sony's fan base was inundating Sony with emails, phone calls, and tweets, whatever, to do crossplay. Again, that's not happening. So this is coming, and it's not that people wouldn't want to do it. It's just not important. When Sony came out and said we're going to double down on single player games and content, and people didn't boo, people didn't say, "Oh, this is terrible," people didn't complain. They said, "Oh, great," because that's the main reason we're in their ecosystem. So the only group of people that is complaining outright are the Xbox people. And again, I think it's a double-edged sword. It's not like I'm going back and forth with this guy on Twitter now he keeps on saying it's about the Epic accounts that are locked. And I said Sony has locked all their accounts since they got hacked by a foreign power, North Korea, a few years ago. It's almost like they act like that never happened. So Sony, to protect itself, locks everything behind a wall. You can't get behind it. So they're not, and that protects Sony because they lost a lot of money, and it protects the people within that ecosystem. As far as Spider-Man is concerned, I had to educate a lot of people that they thought Marvel still owned Spider-Man. They literally did, because when Spider-Man comes on, it says Marvel, but they don't. And I had to tell people, look, why don't you watch? This guy said he had Netflix and it's Marvel, and Spider-Man was in it. I said, okay, why don't you go to? And I found it on Netflix. It was like at the end of the movie, at about, when there's maybe, I forgot the time mark now, it says Spider-Man appears courtesy of Sony. Okay, that's what it says. If you watch Thor Ragnarok, it'll say the Incredible Hulk / Bruce Banner appears courtesy of Universal. So they don't own those characters. They're just in a shared agreement. Sony is the sole owner of Spider-Man. They own everything. There's going to be a Venom movie. That's Sony. You can watch the Venom movie preview right now on YouTube, and it will say Sony. There's a Miles Morales cartoon coming out, a Spider-Man cartoon. That is Sony doing that. So they own everything Spider-Man, up and down, side to side. So it's not anti-consumerism because they control the product. Insomniac should not have had to tweet out, we're making the game for Sony. They are self-publishing the game. Therefore, they're controlling where they publish it to. Period.
Craig, out of the 35 million Xboxes that's out there, I'm willing about 10 million of those people that own Xboxes also own a PlayStation as well. And with that being said, to use that example again, if they jump from playing Rainbow Six on their Xbox to having to go over to the PlayStation, they understand that they're not taking their progress with them. So they're not, jumping up on Ubisoft's head or Microsoft's head or anybody's head with pitchforks and torches. But for some reason they acting up about the Fortnite situation, and then for Nintendo to be a little bitch and jump in this shit too, when they should have stayed out of it, because Microsoft going to eventually double cross them too. When Microsoft gets in a position where they don't need crutches anymore, they're gonna start double crossing people. As far as the Nintendo Switch people goes, I'm willing to bet you out of the 17 million Switches that are out there, probably about 5 million of those people own a PlayStation or an Xbox as their primary console, and the Switch is a secondary console. So my point is that a good amount of people own multiple consoles. So so what is the problem when you know when you jumping from the same game from one platform to the other, you can't take your progress with you. And why has this become a big problem now? Because Microsoft done started this motherfucking fire, this smear campaign, and vilified them.
Well, that's a good point. When they came out at E3, Microsoft, and that woman said Fallout 4 is going to be free on Game Pass, or it's going to come to Game Pass, and so is The Division. I'm like, all right, The Division is free. I've already played it on the PlayStation. I still have my Ubisoft thing saved. Okay, so I went in and said, I'm just going to use the same account from my PlayStation Ubisoft account that I played The Division on and put that on the Xbox. Well, as soon as I did that, it locked. It didn't let me do it. It came up in red. This account already exists to another user. So Ubisoft effectively has locked the account. I can't take my progress in The Division from from the PlayStation, which I don't know, it's like level 18 or something like that, and play it on the Xbox. And there's your issue right there, is that you're right. They have selective outrage. And that's why shout out to Tony P in the Throwdown. He said when Call of Duty and the Division Part 2 comes out, you same people that are bitching about this, you better be bitching. He was talking to people on his own podcast. You better start bitching when those games come out, because if you don't, I will call you a hypocrite, a selfish hypocrite, to your face on the podcast.
Vidiot, pay attention to the podcast. I have not said anything about this lockout, this so-called lockout with the Epic accounts. I haven't said anything about that. This whole podcast for me, from front to back, has been about Microsoft vilifying Sony for not getting on board with crossplay. I didn't say shit about what works on the Switch and what doesn't work and what accounts got locked out or anything. Pay attention to the podcast, friend. Yeah, because my whole thing, and I agree with you, Lincoln, because they're not talking about my story right here about Ubi. Where's your outrage? Why can't I take my Division that's in the cloud, say Sony save cloud, and then move it over, or vice versa? If I have Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 on the PS on the Xbox, it won't let me take my game from if I want to play Mass Effect 3 only on the PlayStation, it won't let me take my save data over from the Xbox. Again, it's perfectly fine, but if for some reason there's no selective outrage, because to use you as an example, Craig, you said you got Mass Effect on both consoles?
I get the 360 and the PS3.
So you knew that buying a game on both of those consoles that you would not be able to transfer your progress from one console to the other. So you knew that walking in. So you knew that you was going to have to set aside some time to invest, in that game on both consoles.
Facts. Yeah, that going in. I don't. That's the whole point. I have a Samsung TV. There's apps on the Samsung TV that don't work on Sony's TV, that don't work. There's Sony apps on their smart TVs that don't work on LG. Again, where is the outrage? This is the whole thing. This is why I give a big shout out to Hard 8, because he's the one that brought all this up. Ubisoft doesn't let you do this. Activision won't let you do this. So every major developer won't let you do this. So if Epic went into a contract with Sony has to disclose. Hold
on. I got to go another round with Vidiot. Okay. Vidiot, you say the progress carried over. You said the progress didn't carry it over. I'm guessing obviously the progress doesn't carry over because people from the people who had an account on the PlayStation that went over to the Switch to try to play it, they can't do it. They got to start over from scratch. They have to create a whole another account. To me, that sounds like progress did not carry over.
Yeah, it does, and it's fine because, that going in, like King Thrash said, I can't go to
video ass up in here.
I can't go to McDonald's and ask them for a Whopper. are a Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich. They're going to say you got to go to this place. And you all, and I understand if you're an Xbox person that you're used to having your shit devalued because it's been being devalued for the last 2.5 years or 3 years when Phil Spencer came out last. I don't know if it was March or May and said, "Hey, look, we're gonna put all these games on PC." That as soon as he did that, that devalued the Xbox like overnight. It happened, and Sony doing crossplay with Nintendo and or Microsoft on a console level is them using diffusion to go down and pull them up. And they're not going to do that. That's bad business. I mean, it's business.
Thank you, J-Dog, right there. J-Dog just said, I got a Switch and PS4. It will not carry over from my PS4 Fortnite account. Thank you, J-Dog.
Shit, that's trippy because, I mean, I got Street Fighter Classic Edition on the PlayStation and on the Switch, and my shit won't carry over there neither. Like.
And the fact of the matter is, I don't really care about that shit. What the purpose of this podcast is that, you know, once that it started from that shit and it blew up to Sony not doing crossplay again, and they became the villain again.
And again,
so the whole thing went left.
Yeah, and
it started out being one problem, and it evolved talking about something else.
Yeah, and they do crossplay. They just do it with PC. That's reality. And then, like you said, Lincoln, they're going to do crossplay with VR. So they're fine. You know, I mean, Sony is fine. They got to 80 million like crashing. So it's something they don't need. So that's all they're
Hey, somebody getting beat up back there. I hear some screaming.
Like showing like Microsoft and Nintendo playing happy together. I don't even know motherfuckers like that. I don't even know these niggas. They both go out the single player games. But they don't got these niggas play with each other, same game over and over.
These niggas don't make no sense. Shit. Oh, my bad, y'all.
Go ahead. You was about to say something though, wasn't you?
Yeah, no, I was talking to nigga Game Peen about this shit. He over here tripping off of it too. Like, nigga, these niggas, Nintendo niggas got damn crossplay, single player games on their shit right.
Yeah,
for crossplay.
Yeah, they got plenty to play.
We just forget. Like we over here, man. When giving us these record-breaking, groundbreaking games. And the two are sitting on top of a game that's not even theirs, trying to make them look bad. Like, how does that work? Who's doing what for gaming right now? You know what I'm saying? For actual gamers. Like we getting games like The Last of Us, and we're like, fuck, look at this shit. And then we see Nintendo at E3 play Smash Brothers all goddamn day. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft talk about new consoles and showing off nothing but.
Ooh, get cut off again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is done. Well, go ahead. I'm done.
But you went out halfway through, so we only.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, man, I'm like mad at this. I fucking hate technology, man. Nigga, these robots. Nigga, I need to play Detroit again and then let the androids die or something.
Hey, what a wonderful game. What a wonderful game, Detroit. Then again, so is God of War, so is MLB The Show, so is GT Sport, so is Uncharted Lost Legacy, so is Horizon Zero Dawn, so is Shadow of the Colossus, even though I haven't played it. Y'all get the picture? Lots of games, lots of great looking games, lots of great games.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to is when you don't have anything. And somebody just direct messaged me. He's like, look, when you don't have anything to play, you're going to complain about anything else. And that's what this has just come down to, is that they don't have anything else to do but complain, which is fine. I mean, this guy's literally going back and forth with me about terms of service now. So just let them, good grief. He acts like your terms of service don't disclose what the parent company that you're agreeing to does. That's exactly what it does. That's why it's called a term of service. Just right. And like what you need to point out where that is. Bitch, you go find out where it is.
Oh, good one, Craig. Hey, Adam Wilson, I see your comment right there where you say, "Hi, I'm Connor, the android sent by CyberLife. I'll do you one better. I'll do you one better, Adam Wilson. Hi, I'm Connor, the Xbox sent to shut up King Thrash." He said somebody in the comment section said that Phil Spencer sniped Thrash.
yeah, he looking for me and shit. I know his weakness though, it's facts. All I do is throw facts at him and hurt.
Right.
Kryptonite. Throw some facts at him. Yeah. Xbox controller need batteries. I'm dying. Nah. Shit. Oh man, it's just interesting times, man. People are just outraged about everything. I was taking advantage of it. Man.
See, the thing about it though is that the Xbox don't get outraged until Phil Spencer tell them to get outraged.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, they have so
they know that they about. Go ahead, Craig.
I'm just saying they got selective rage. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. And that to me is what's humorous about it, is they have selective rage. I mean, they're just going through it about this, and it's just something that they needed something to go back, because they ain't got no games. Look, I have an Xbox One X. They ain't got no damn games. It's just, it is what it is. So, and I'm I can play Gran Turismo. Granted, I don't, Gran Turismo, I still got the joystick, and the people with the steering wheel, they're gonna give me free smoke, but I'm still my point is that they just don't have anything. So, like you said, Lincoln, if you're gonna talk about Epic, then Epic can simply just get out of the contract and pay whatever cost they need to pay to get out of it. They just say, hey, look, we don't like the fact Sony has locked your account. We're trying to get out of the account, which to me would be what you would think they would do. But instead, they locked in Sony called them up and said, hey, we got all these people complaining about Fortnite. So we're going to go ahead and we want you all to let us do a Fortnite console and, and give us some free stuff. And they were like, oh, yeah, sure. I mean, that's how much two fucks Epic cares. So
is there really a Fortnite console coming out?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah. This Google PS4 news, and that's one of the first stories.
Wow.
That's one of the first stories. So matter of fact, I may drop that on Twitter just to shut this bum up. I'll say, yeah, Epic is so mad and so disgusted with Sony, they're allowing a specialized console. Just go on with your buttery ass. That's what I'm gonna put on. That's what I'm gonna put on my tweet. So let's see. Let me find it here first. It says something about Fortnite console just in time. It's something like that. I think I read it on Polygon.
Wow. I mean, once this becomes mainstream news, it'll be interesting to see what the reaction is going to be.
Yeah, it's on VG. It's on Polygon yesterday. Well, that's a skin. It's on VG247.com. Then it says Game Rant's got it too. So, yeah, Fortnite PS4 bundle arrives next month with exclusive Royal Bomber skin. Now that's I mean, that's my point, is that this is not that big a deal. And
it never has been. It's just that my box niggas need something to talk about. I'm saying, oh, Sony needs to come and join us. I'm like, damn, Nintendo is part of y'all now, and they come and join you. That's like I said. What's gonna happen what's gonna happen if we come and join them? Would the console war be over then? No, it'd just be the same ass shit tomorrow. It's gonna be a different day. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and like I said, Epic would further ignite it by posting stats up on the Fortnite page of which console's been winning the most matches, which would only further ignite shit. Then the console war would get to beyond toxic levels.
Yeah, but see, nobody will make. I mean, the people who will be making money behind it would be Epic because they see a competition between different consoles. Now everybody going to want to hop on it because they'll be the first game to have all consoles do all of this shit at the same time. That's why they're shitting up about it. They're going to still do what they do because they know Sony not going to really do it. But if Sony really does go and do it, they stand to make the most money because they're going to have more and more players on their system.
Yeah.
Infrastructure people at the time. The fucking frame stupid because the Nintendo Switch guys are running at 30 frames per second. It's already dumb. You know what I'm saying? It's already an imbalance. You know what I'm saying? It's just that'll be the next argument right there. It's going to be if Sony go and do this shit, it's going to be an imbalance because the Nintendo Switch guys are going to be 30 frames per second. So they're going to have a disadvantage, and then the numbers going to pop up. Nintendo dudes will probably be last because of that, and then they're going to be complaining about it, and then it's going to be like, oh, you guys just suck. It's just these companies are finding different ways to make money, and they're using the naiveness of some gamers to make money, and it's stupid, man. It's just I hate to see gamers try to talk business when they don't know shit about business. I hate that shit. Like, nigga, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. As soon as I saw anti-consumerism, I was like, nigga, do you know what that means? Like, anti-consumerism? You're paying for this right now. You're paying for this free shit. And you're going to tell me that Sony, who's it's free on, is doing anti-consumerism because they don't want to help the competition? Like, they're not helping you, nigga. Like, you wouldn't know the difference. They're not helping you. You got the game. If they join, you don't gain anything. Only Microsoft and Nintendo does. Us as customers, we don't gain shit if we do that shit. Like, what's going to be the difference? You still going to have 100 people inside the fucking match, whether PlayStation joins or not. What's the difference? You know what I'm saying? It's like you know how much it'll take to actually divide the numbers and get this from PlayStation side or put a PlayStation icon over somebody's head, and that's only going to help Epic. That's it. There's no changing. I'm still shooting and killing whoever's next to me. That's it. That's all Fortnite is about. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's no game. It's not an anti-consumer. It's anti-business for Sony to actually do it. The only reason why Nintendo is doing it because they the lowest business. They don't have to do it, but it's just favorable for them to do it. It's not favorable for the person who has the most to lose. So it's just I hate to see gamers act like they know what the fuck they talking about when they don't know what the fuck they be talking about when it comes to this business shit. Just play games, nigga. You got the game, you can play it. It has 100 people in it. Enjoy gaming, nigga. Don't get too deep into something you don't understand.
Right.
And that's exactly what Microsoft is doing.
Some of the bigger YouTubers that favor Xbox, Sony needs to do crossplay. You know, shit like that. You know, I ain't gonna mention any names, but I mean, there was some YouTubers out there I started out having a lot of respect for, but as time went on and I saw what they was about, I started losing respect for them. And then when they said that shit that Sony needs to do crossplay, you know, I was like, I'm done. I no longer have any respect for this person.
No more respect, bro.
I mean, you just hit it right on the head. Crossplay, to me, it doesn't. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't benefit me. With the PlayStation being my preferred platform, there's 80 million people to play with out there. You know, so
yeah. I'm like, how many friends do I got on Xbox? I mean, this game is fucking free. So if I have an Xbox and I want to play with my Xbox friends, I can go play with them. It's fucking free. It's not going to cost me shit. I got an Xbox. Let me go do it. Now, if I don't have an Xbox and I want to play against my friends, well, then, nigga, I would either have to buy an Xbox or tell them niggas to buy a PlayStation. But wouldn't that count for every fucking game? Why do it just got to be Fortnite? Like, then every game should be cross-play. There should be no exclusives, and everybody should just be playing on one fucking console then. That's what the argument should be if they want to fucking argue about it. It makes no sense for us to cry about Fortnite. Fuck Fortnite.
Yeah, like, and that game is locked behind Xbox Live.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for gamers to complain about something that will end Sony's gaming shit. You know what I'm saying? It'll end like if you're gonna argue about this, you might as well argue all the way. You might as well say don't make no more excuses because that's anti-consumers, and don't make more than one console because that's anti-consumer. We should all play one console and all play together.
Well,
if you're not gonna make it like that.
That's what was being said about 3.5 to 4 months ago by Xbox people, is that exclusives are anti-consumer. And I heard a guy say, you know, I shouldn't be punished for what, and that's what Phil Spencer's hearing. We got to really understand that these cats feel like they're being punished for being on Xbox because they ain't got no games, you know. So they feel like, oh, no, you brought up Spider-Man earlier. They're like, oh no, it's only going to be on the. They actually, even though Sony owns the IP, they thought Sony's going to allow everybody to play that, and you can't. You can play it, but you just have to have PlayStation.
I asked Xbox niggas this: if there was one console, all consoles got together, or there was only one console and all the exclusives were shared, who's running it? Huh? Who's going to run it? Is Microsoft going to run it? Is Sony going to run it? Who would you want to run it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's so stupid.
Man, Thrash, you just opened up another can of worms because let's say Sony runs it, and they don't, and then the Xbox don't like how it's being ran. Then they gonna start screaming again and won't, they gonna want an Xbox.
They don't want separation. They gonna want separation again.
Yeah, or they want Xbox people to run it.
Right.
This shit would never end.
So like, it never end. I mean, if Microsoft runs it, that means Sony goes out of business. That means, like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Competition is there for a reason. Competition is to make games better. That's what we talked about. I made a video about saying Xbox should die. People are like, no, Sony needs competition so they can stay on their toes and make better games. Are they going to get arrogant? Okay, so why the fuck are you complaining about crossplay? Microsoft should be making a game that competes with the motherfucking shit. Make something that competes, keep the competition going. You want Sony to bow down to the competition and help them? Well, that's not really being competitive then, is it? You know what I'm saying? It's like you just, fuck it, nigga, the Xbox should fucking die. Everybody hop on a PlayStation if y'all want to play with PlayStation so bad. They already got the larger user base. Might as well join the larger user base and play with them niggas then.
Man,
like,
you hit it on the head, bro.
That don't make no sense, bro. These niggas not making sense. They're not making sense. They don't even know how to talk.
And if Microsoft was to get their way and Sony did give into the crossplay, they will slowly but surely die. They will be on the verge of bankruptcy again in a few years when you have taken away anybody's reason for having to buy a PlayStation.
Yeah. I mean, Sony lives or dies by PlayStation. Nintendo lives or dies by Nintendo. Microsoft will survive easily without Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft don't give a fuck. They got Windows. They got like $1 billion shit that outweighs Xbox by billions. So why would you want Sony to give in to a company who won't lose anything, but Sony can lose everything if the PlayStation dies? You know what I'm saying? Just hurting PlayStation hurts Sony as a company. Hurting Xbox clearly doesn't hurt Xbox. Like Craig said, the Xbox One X is $450. They said in the beginning that the Xbox didn't make them any money. They were basically breaking even. Now they're losing $50 per console. On top of the games they bundling with it, which cost them more money. They can afford to just keep on losing money every generation. Every generation they lost money. So they can afford to do it. Sony can't afford to do it. They almost went bankrupt last generation because of it. So it's like, man, it's so much to it that these motherfuckers don't pay attention. They just pay attention to what people are complaining about online right now. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. And it'll be something new tomorrow. Guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? It's just...
Yeah, and play it all the way through. If Sony starts going out of business, what happens to their game studios? They start making games for Microsoft. That's what they want. I'm telling you guys right now, they are seething at that console being 6 teraflops. I'm going to say that again, 6 teraflops. Can look as good as Horizon Zero Dawn, Detroit, because they told everybody that's what was going to happen. You even had B back. Coming to hide it. What else say? What's that noise?
Hey, Craig. Back that up and say that again. What'd you say about D-Batch?
Well, I mean, he said himself in a podcast, I'm going to quote him. The fact is He said the fact is that the games that have been generational changing have not been on Xbox this generation. They've been on PlayStation. And that's hard for Xbox dudes to take, end quote. And this is the same man that said that the Xbox X was going to run games. Games are going to look so much better that people are going to abandon the PlayStation and go to the Xbox. Now, here we are, 7 months later, this Negro that flipped the script. That's how bad it has been. So, and that's fine. I'm not saying that to knock him. I'm saying that his mindset, that was the mindset of these cats. And when they see the games that Naughty Dog is coming out with, when they see the games that Gorilla's doing, when they see the games that Sucker Punch is doing, they are seething. Those games are not on their console because they just thought, well, the developers are going to just automatically want to make games for Microsoft because it's the most powerful console. Yeah, well, we see where that got you. The best looking game at E3 on Xbox was running on a goddamn PC, not on an Xbox. So that's just a reality. At least what I saw, gameplay, I remind everybody, gameplay for The Last of Us, that was on a PlayStation. That's been confirmed.
It had a disclaimer at the bottom saying that it was on a PlayStation.
Yeah, it's the same with Ghost of Tsushima. Confirmed. Now, the gaming looks so good on that gameplay. What the game on Kojima's game looks so good. I thought it was on PC, but I had to correct myself on another podcast and okay, look, it's been confirmed that was on a PlayStation. So when they're getting games like that on 4 T-flops of power, and Microsoft can't get close to this 6, they are seething. They want games like The Last of Us. They want the Ghost of Tsushimas. They want games on that console. They just, so like you guys are saying, I mean, you're answering your own questions here. What the best thing to do is say, hey, look, we can't beat them, so we got to join them. Which I thought that was the best article about crossplay. Hey, we can't beat them, we got to join them. And so, and I would too. If I'm getting my head caved in, MPD after MPD, week after week. We see some of the numbers, and Microsoft gets internal numbers too. We don't see the internals, so that's why Sony feels confident doubling down on single player content. Because they know their internal numbers say this is what people want. This is what your fan base is buying your console for, to play single player games, not multi-plat games where you can, like I said, like that dog. That dog's got a headset on for a reason. That's telling you guys something. So hey, look, they're already conditioning, like King Thresh said, they're already conditioning kids to have on a headset to play an Xbox. They're being conditioned. So, because that's what they want them to do. Get online and call in the B2 and get one-man army and get your 9,000 prestige. Just be a bunch of simps. That's why it's a doll. Well, like I said, I'm sure it's got skinny, tight jeans on. It's probably got a soaking wet diaper because that's what you all got. Just bitching and moaning about what you don't have. So it's just, I think the doll was perfect. J-Dub City said, who knows, he may get a wild hair and buy one and throw it and give it away.
Yeah, I was listening to that. Mod Razi, you said, what about VR? I guess Oculus don't want to work with Xbox One X because it's not powerful enough. Fact of the matter is, I think Microsoft don't want to mess with VR because they see that Sony's not cranking out the kind of numbers that they want to see. Because Microsoft is one of those companies that they won't take any chances. They'll wait to see somebody be super successful with something, and then they'll jump on it. And then that's why you got avatars in the Xbox, ecosystem right now, because during the Wii era, those Miis were super popular. So Microsoft came up with the avatars, and then had microtransactions on them back in the 360 generation where you could pay for clothes on them and shit.
Facts.
So, and that's where you got games with gold, because the first time the PlayStation Network got hacked and it was down for like a month or something like that, in an apologetic move, Sony gave everybody 2 free games. They gave them the choice, like they gave them Infamous, and I think let them choose between Dead Nation or something like that. So they gave everybody 2 free games, and that started the PlayStation Plus, and then Microsoft jumped on that with games with gold. Microsoft wasn't even the first people to invent voice chat. That shit was on the Sega Dreamcast before them. So Microsoft they don't take chances. They let somebody else do something and see that it's making money hand over fist, then they'll get involved. So when Sony gets to about 10 million playset VR headsets, then Microsoft will decide, hey, maybe it's some money in this shit. Then they'll give Oculus a call and tell them to get that headset ready.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I think that damn, I kind of lost my train of thought. Yeah, I think as far as VR, this Microsoft, yeah, I agree with that. And as far as what they invented, well, Sony had to do free games because their net worth on the PS3 was garbage. At least at the beginning. They fixed it, but it was trash. So one of the benefits was, well, we're going to give you some free games. So, and you're right, Microsoft did copy that with the games would go. So, but ultimately, it looks like that it may be a fact that Sony's going to have PS Now able to download, and that is their version of Steam and Game Pass and stuff like that. If it happens, Sony hasn't made it official; it's just a rumor. But ultimately, they've done some. Like I said, they've done more good than bad, both Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. But when it comes to this subject, the selective outrage is beyond reproach. I mean, it's pathetic. I don't know what else to say. So, but they made that stuffed doll for them on purpose. There's a reason why that doll did not go to PlayStation. Even though I agree with you, King Thrash, that Sony will have something probably next year.
Hey Craig,
no, go ahead.
No, I wanted to add to what Craig was saying about the PlayStation Now being able to download games like Game Pass.
Possible through.
First of all, I said it before about PlayStation Now. There's over 650 games there in their library, whereas Game Pass, there's 100. The target number will always be 100. They will not go over 100. If they add 20 games, they're going to get rid of 20 games. So it's always going to be 100. So you're paying $10 a month for 100 games. Now, over on the PlayStation side, you pay $30 for 3 months. That still breaks down to $10 a month for 650 games versus $10 a month for 100 games. Now, when the PlayStation if they do make those games downloadable, I'd imagine there's a lot of people on the PlayStation that might have, Game Pass memberships that they are probably going to cancel. If that becomes the case over on the PlayStation side, they're probably going to cancel their Game Pass memberships in order for the PlayStation Now membership, because there's going to be a much, much bigger library, and a lot of the same games that's over on Game Pass are probably going to be over on PlayStation Now.
But they give me the DLC. And this is if it's true, because it's just a rumor. It's just a rumor. But if they give me the DLC with those games, they just say, yeah, the DLC is going to be part of the download, then I may have to consider getting it. But ultimately, because that's what those older games, that's what's missing, especially, like Oblivion, the expansion. My God, for Oblivion, both expansions were fantastic. Of course, Mass Effect, I got all those expansions. Fallout 3. My God, I mean, they had like 5 expansions. All of them were great. All of them were top notch. So if they were to do something like that, that's fine, But let's have to wait and see. It may not be true. You know what?
To answer you, Craig, and Chili Hog says rumors. To answer both of you guys, I think that is rumor that is going to become fact. Because Sony is working on game changing, being able to change a gamer tag as we speak. Yes, it is taking a while. Hey, who said it's cool to play old games? I'm just pointing out a fact that if you're paying $10 a month for 2 subscriptions and one has 650 games and the other has 100, which one seems like the better buy? So no, I don't plan on subscribing to either of those services. I have no intentions of playing any of those old games. I've said it a million times that I move with technology. When the new console comes out, I move with the new console. I play the games on the new console, and I do not look back at the previous generation.
Yeah. Well, I'm a.
I sold it. I didn't mean to cut you off again, but I sold an Xbox 360 that had 300 games that I burned. I sold them I sold that Xbox 360 with 300 games, a Kinect, a Guitar Hero guitar, the DJ Hero turntable, multiple controllers, all that for $50 because I knew I was not going to come back and play it. So no, I don't. I never said it's cool to play old games. I don't know where we got you. I don't know where you got that from, video. So there's no hypocrisy on my end.
Yeah, and I feel you. But I'm gonna jump off here. I'm gonna jump on with Ryan, the professional. He had a podcast planned today, but yeah, I appreciate coming on, guys. I appreciate you letting me.
Hey! Before you go, I think this was one hell of a podcast today.
That was fun.
I did a little bit of ranting today. I was a little bit out of character, but nonetheless, I think this was a great podcast today.
Yeah, good times. Yeah, good topics. You know, good people to talk with them about, and good subs over there. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I believe I have the best. I believe I have the best subs. You are all wonderful. Though, like Thread said, y'all ain't subs, y'all homies. I got the best homies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't like calling my niggas subs and shit, nigga. Don't sub to me, nigga. You the homie, nigga. And if you're not, nigga, bounce, nigga. I don't give a fuck, nigga. Leave your food behind though, cause I'm hungry. But still, nigga, bounce about my shit, nigga. We homies.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's get some proper outros then.
All right, for sure. Craig left already?
No, I'm still here.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, do your outro first. I know you guys somewhere to go, so.
All right, yeah, it's Craig Harris, Craig's Corner. Check me out. I may be streaming Horizon Zero Dawn here in a couple hours. So yeah, come and check that out over there. If you're not too busy, it's Saturday night. You all should be out with your girls. Mine is at work, so I got an excuse to be at home. You all don't. You're too young. So, but y'all take it easy. Thanks for the invite, Lincoln. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on.
Mm-hmm.
Thrash?
It's King Thrash Gaming. Y'all know what it is. Thanks for having me. You know what I'm saying? I always like to come on and work with my boy Lincoln, man. We always have a good time here. See, like I said, it's the Black Man Podcast because it's like all three of us walk up in here at the same time. But just want to say, man, good topics, of course. Always good chat room as always. And fuck y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because thank y'all at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Hey, you know what? Hey, we might end up being the three amigos because this is the second straight time the three of us got together, and it was a tremendous podcast. So I'm definitely
for sure. I'm with it.
With that being said, I'll go ahead and close it out. You know, yo, this is your boy Lincoln Clay. I appreciate everybody coming on. It was a wonderful podcast. There was a lot of interesting talk going on in the comment section. You know, and I definitely appreciate that. And as far as tonight goes, I'm definitely going to stream something, whether it's baseball, you know, MLB The Show, GT Sport, something. I'm definitely going to stream something. So, you know, so for those who want to come on over to that direction and finish kicking it with me over there, I would appreciate it. So with that being said, you know, for my guests, King Thrash and Craig Harris, I want to thank them for coming on aboard again and thank everybody else for tuning in. With that being said, that's going to do it. And we are out.
We are out indeed.
Yeah, that was definitely a hell of a podcast, man. Definitely.